fights and explosive night of fights.
Take mine. I like your shirt.
Hey, you guys, we got a treat.
Look at there.
The second half of the commentating crew for Access TV. UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. Honor, my friend.
How are you, sir?
All right. Appreciate you taking the time.
Vanessa. Go ahead and sit right here. It'd be better for you. Go ahead.
Okay. I think she doesn't. I think I smell or something.
No.
So how you doing, buddy? What do you think of Central California? Well, you've been to Central California for a little bit too, but
Yeah.
Fresno.
Well, this is a little closer to the Iowa thing because of the farming. So
Yeah.
I actually like it. You know, being from Iowa, so I prefer it. I actually like to surf, but
You're thinking about going a little more?
well, no, but I don't have time for that, unfortunately, this trip. But I don't care if it's cows or surf. Whatever. I'm good.
There you go. I remember back in the day, the old WC days, man. A lot of you guys made it down here, man.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we had a lot of fun coming to the outdoor fights at the reservations and stuff. Those were some great shows.
And what was my good friend Ryan Bennett, God bless his soul, used
Yeah.
to say, you know you're in Lemoore when you smell funk. I never forget that. One morning, Jeff Sherwood and I were on the MMA Weekly show, and he brought that up, and he used to tease me because I'm from Southern California, but I moved up here kind of like what Jeff did, and I was kind of like the connection. He said, "Hey, well, contact Chris, man. He's in with all the Indians over there at that," because we wanted to do a live show here.
So, are you an indigenous person? Okay.
46%.
What tribe?
Gabrielino, San Gabriel, Michigan.
Okay.
My mom and grandma and grandpa, they're in the
All right.
house.
All right.
Yeah, I am.
So you were probably pretty tough in your day. I'm just guessing.
Played football, man. Played football a little bit. Went to Arizona State.
I figured.
Those guards would come out.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
Good.
yeah, and I wrestled in high school, but once I could play football and I was real good, I said, nah, it's better.
Yeah.
But I can still condition wrestling because you can't get better shape than that. You know?
So there's probably a lot of good wrestlers in terms of California coming out of this area then, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Fresno State, now that they've reinstated it
Right.
there,
Yeah.
you got a lot of, actually, there's a little city, actually just south of us, Selma, California.
Okay.
They have how many kids right now? We're in the club, and
That's
these
awesome.
guys, it's like a non-profit deal, but they're turning out these kids that are, state champions. Guys that are putting out, and
No, that's awesome. I love to see the sport of wrestling growing in places besides the Midwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Texas, California, places like that. Because I came from Bettendorf, Iowa, where wrestling is king in Iowa, of course. But the town that I grew up in, Bettendorf, Iowa, was always number one, number two, top three at the worst in the state of Iowa for wrestling. So that's just all I've known. You know what I mean? So It's nice to see wrestling grow and the sport becomes more competitive that way. You know, when Dan Gable was coaching Iowa and they destroyed everybody for all those decades, it actually kind of hurt the sport of wrestling. And then when all the Gable guys that were national champs and Olympic gold medalists and that wrestled underneath Gable started coaching in a bunch of different places, right? That's wrestling started to go up everywhere. Yeah, exactly, the Steiners, the Steiner boys straight out of Iowa, man.
Yeah. Fresno State.
Yeah, so they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are, and it is. Here is basically it's a hotbed, and and a lot of the kids now from that have graduated from high school are getting a lot of letters from the Midwest. So they're out right now checking the schools out.
That's great.
All the colleges and stuff in your neck of the woods.
That's good stuff.
They're still that's on top of the food chain right there too. So they're all doing.
So I had the Gable curse though. The Gable, you know what the Gable curse is? He had 4 daughters.
Oh.
So all the wrestlers in Iowa have nothing but daughters. So I have 3 daughters, and 16, 14, and then we tried for a boy and got another girl, 4-year-old. But they're competitive swimmers, so I figured that a sport that's as tough as wrestling, swimming, right?
Hey,
you ever try swimming?
I tried a couple
It's
times.
hard, buddy.
Just dump out.
It's real hard.
Oh yeah, best thing to condition your body, man.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
whole body, you know, like that too. But yeah, there's some girls here that are high-level wrestler, high school wrestlers that are competing
Oh, good.
in world.
Is her name Grace?
Yeah, Gracie.
She is
Gracie, and then there's another girl right
Good wrestler.
now.
She's from Selma, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Selma.
Very, very good.
I saw a girl win the Illinois State Freestyle Championships that's been probably 10 years ago when I went and watched it. And she was a wrestling coach's daughter, and her technique was perfect. And she won the Illinois State Freestyle against all the boys, destroyed everybody. I mean, tech falled them, pinned them. And I said, that's the first time I'd ever seen a girl wrestle at that level. And I went, holy, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Just destroy. And these are fully developed high school boys, and she's wrecking them.
Yeah,
It's really cool
this
to
Gracie's
watch.
kind of like that too. She has two brothers that wrestle, and we asked, because we had her on the show, what guy? She goes, well, both my brothers. I've always trained with them, so I figured, what the heck? And then she went to the next level, man.
Yeah.
And she's going to college off of it. You know, she got a scholarship.
You know, Mike was a Nebraska heavyweight champion. Mike Kendall was a Nebraska heavyweight champion.
There you go, Mike. A corn
No, it
husk.
was not.
Corn husker. Like that. So outside of doing this, Pat, you still got your, I know, you know, during like the UFC days, and then a lot of the guys were winding down, you know, like Matt and the rest of the crew. Robbie, you know, still doing his thing.
Right.
But you had what they, I mean, you did a lot of stuff with the armed forces.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
Not
training
training
law
stuff
enforcement and military for about 20 years, so I love that. I was just on the East Coast working with some special forces guys out there. I do, you know, whenever I have time, I do a contract. I'm supposed to go overseas here pretty soon and do something with some groups over there. Not sure exactly when I'm going to go, but I enjoy that a lot. I mean, I retired from coaching several years ago and got out of babysitting professional athletes. You know, I had my fun. We got 94 athletes on television and 14 world champs, so I had my fun.
Yeah,
at that,
I was going to say.
But
Hell of a resume.
I enjoy working with law enforcement and military. It's rewarding, and doing a few other ventures, business ventures. So you know, I'm having fun.
Good deal. You know, and all LFA sure how they do a lot of fights. 30-some fights a year.
Yeah.
What are some of the young blood that's coming out to keep an eye on that we should be watching?
Achilles Mota is one guy that nobody even really knows about. He fought one time on our network. He's, in my mind, the scariest guy that I've seen so far in the past year. Brazilian named Achilles Mota. So keep his name in mind. But I shouldn't even said anybody, because I'm going to forget about a million kids that are great fighters. I mean, there's some very talented kids on the card tomorrow night. You know, it's every week we've got, you know, the beautiful thing about our fights is they're never going to be boring, because they're talented. They've got enough experience where they've gotten through, most of them have gotten through the local stuff. Now they're to this level. They know they're one step away from the UFC, so they're all throwing it on the line, and they're young, they're hungry. So you're always going to have great fights. We just don't have boring cards. So for me as a broadcaster, I mean, it makes my job easy. It really does.
Yeah, I've never seen a show that they put on in person, prelims, or on the national TV that's been boring. I think I've recorded every single one. So and usually there might be one or two guys, and it'll get you taken. You know, next time you see the UFC.
Right.
Wow, where did I see that guy before? Reference right back to the LFA at one time.
Yeah, I think just in this year alone, they've put 35 fighters in the UFC. So it's a conveyor belt straight into the UFC, and all the athletes know that, so they're going to fight hard.
Yeah, they do, and you even have a lot of fighters come from other organizations.
Yeah.
When you guys aren't on TV, they're coming from the other one and end up coming in this organization,
right?
And then going to that.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen that too. But
so what are the best schools, martial arts schools, in the Fresno area?
She trains at every single one. She's jiu-jitsu.
So you're not going to tell me which one's the best, are you?
I mean, of course I'm going to say my school, but I'm not going to say that because I train at a lot of different schools here.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good community for everybody, kind of having open mats and stuff.
Yes. I love it, especially here in Fresno. There's a few gyms I train at here. When Salma was open, I trained in Salma, I trained in Marcelia, Portville.
Okay.
Bakersfield, I trained at Sherlock.
Yeah, so how many years have you done jiu-jitsu?
I've been doing jiu-jitsu for, it'll be 5 years.
Okay.
End of October.
Awesome. Did you break your humerus? An interesting accident? Now you got to tell me. Now you've got to tell me.
It's classified. It's classified.
No comment. No
Yeah, there is a lot. There is a lot of schools down south in Porterville. You have USC Bed Joe Soto that has a school out there.
So I think the league just opened a gym down there too. And then like the Visalia area is my school, which is Marco Cruz underneath Dan Camarillo.
Okay.
There's Combat Base, which is under Chris Howder. There's Chris Melissa Howder. And then there's a new gym, which is Resilience, which honestly I really don't know that much about. And then there's Mo's gym.
Mary Renault just opened up a gym.
Oh, okay.
Wow, trifecta. And then
And you have a gym?
no, I just train at all these places.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
train in garages. I train anywhere that anybody doesn't train.
You know what? That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I love training in places like that.
I was just training in a garage yesterday.
Yeah, good. And there's some heat out here, so that's good.
Yeah. And I love
You don't
it.
train in air
Like,
conditioning, do you?
sometimes I do.
Yeah.
At Kosachek's place in the throne, you have air
Yeah.
conditioning on.
Sometimes I do. Like my gym has air conditioning, but that's because we're inside of an actual gym.
Oh, okay.
Like so yeah, we have
So
Health club gym.
but then there's places where there is no air conditioning at all.
which is the best, right? You're gonna get in better shape.
There's times where, like here, I don't know about, but here, like I'll be up at like 5:30 in the morning to train in the garage in the middle of December. Like anywhere I can train, I'm gonna train at.
Yeah.
There's so many people that let me train, like here Halo, Steve Rome, TNA. I know there's rivalry groups. Like there's just a bunch of different places.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this place would make a great gym, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
Amazing gym. I was actually
Just
shopping.
leave some of the beer in here though for after
Oh, yeah,
you're done.
Right?
Yeah.
to rehydrate.
Yeah.
Nice and warm in here, like not bad. Like how you ran, fighting systems, bro.
Always had the room 95,
95 degrees.
95, unless it
It's
was
about
hotter
that
than that
right now.
outside. Then we'd open the doors even more and get more hot air in. But no, we had a lot of guys, a lot of fighters would come from around the world, and they'd show up on a Sunday, and then we'd start training them on Monday morning. And usually after Wednesday night, about 95% of them all left after about 2-3 days. They couldn't deal with the heat and having a, because I had at one time I think there were between 40 and 50 guys that were ranked in the top 10 in the world in one room.
Wow.
So you've got all-American wrestlers, world champion wrestlers, great kickboxers, black belts in jiu-jitsu, just a bunch of killers, right? So a guy would come from another gym, and he's used to being the big fish in a little pond, and now every 5-minute go, he's got a world-ranked fighter blasting him, and they just go, I'm done, I'm out, I don't. So it was the people that would puke and suffer and get the shit beat out of them for 2, 3 months, 4 months. Those guys, once they got used to it, then it was just, all right, and they got better and better and better. And it was just a snowball going downhill, and that's the thing that I think a lot of gyms miss the point of is they'll start a gym with someone's name instead of,
go by the name.
and then go by the name, and that name is not the real driver behind the practices. So the person that's running everything has to be super hungry also, and you've got to be able to set an example. Like everything that I told my fighters to do, and I'm just saying this because I was coaching and fighting at the same time, is that I was doing all the endurance drills and all the other stuff with the guys. So they were like, well, he's telling us to do it, and he's doing it, so we're going to do it, right? So it's just, you got to lead by example to get people to do it. And so you have to have young, hungry coaches also.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, the old wise ones help. I mean, look at me, I'm old, right? I get it. But I'm not going to get in there and go 2 hours straight like I used to on sparring
But you
night.
have the experience and knowledge. So
I can
that's
explain
what
things to people, I can educate people, I can do whatever, and I can demonstrate and all that, yeah. But I'm not going to get punched in the head anymore. I've done enough of that.
Well, I get beat up all the time. I mean, I'm still pretty new doing it. I'm a brown belt now.
Yeah.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You gotta get in there.
No, I mean, there is a certain amount of punishment you have to take to become good, to become proficient, and it is. And so what it is, especially with mixed martial arts, it's not so much jiu-jitsu, because you can just roll and drill and get really good, right, at jiu-jitsu if you do a lot of flow drills and get real systematic and technical. But fighting, you have to take that abuse. So it's a race to accumulate enough knowledge, get good enough by the time your body falls apart. That's the race that you're dealing with. So you got to be smart about it. You got to stay flexible. You got to, do therapy stuff. I never did that much of, because I was always, after I got back from a UFC or whatever I was coaching in, I was back in the room on Monday sparring, grappling, wrestling with everybody to help them get ready for fights. And so I had a lot of injuries because of that. So that's the key.
Yeah, badass ears though. I want cauliflower.
No, you don't.
So I can't
You
get
don't
it.
want cauliflower. You don't want cauliflower.
That's it.
It ruined my acting. It ruined my acting life. You realize what I could have done. No, trust me. No, I mean, being from Iowa, I'm proud of these. I earned them, right? So I get
Have
it.
you guys ever heard the Conspiracy Farm podcast?
No.
Oh my gosh, you guys ever want to run down the rabbit hole? Watch him and Jeff Wilson, these guys.
So we do a podcast, called The Conspiracy Farm. Our tagline is we don't start the conspiracy, we just add the water. And I am into, my passion is geopolitical and domestic policy. I love what's really truly going on behind the scenes around the world, So, when you see an army of 50,000 Islamic extremists appear in Syria all of a sudden, they didn't just organically grow. It's called, there's a lot of money that came from certain countries. You might be sitting in one of those countries, right? And that country also possibly provided the training for ISIS and al-Nusra and some other groups. So when, and I think that the military, and this is just one of the subjects we would go into, the military leaders now are sick of that bullshit. And that's why you see this war going on in this country, is military intelligence and military leaders against the suits saying, stop the fucking wars. We're done arming and training these people, and then we got to go in and kill them, and we're losing our people. We're done. So you can see that war going on. Everything you see on TV that the media is telling you, none of it's true. Not a thing that they tell you. So that's why we go deeper. We research it. We tell people what's really going on, and we invite people to prove us wrong. We tell people, go out, do your own research, and if you can come back, document, and prove me wrong, what I'm saying, awesome, I'll admit it. On there. So that's my passion. So we love it.
That's awesome. It's true. I mean, I believe it. I mean, if you stop and just think about all the scenarios that could happen, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, I mean,
it's meant.
Just for instance, I won't go down this, take you down the rabbit hole very long, but think about this. People sit there and balk at the idea that the Vegas shooting could have been a false flag. Now, false flag doesn't mean people didn't die.
Yeah.
What it means is that the most likely scenario is that a 65-year-old man who's out of shape and has a heart condition isn't lugging weapons over and over and over with ammo, thousands of pounds of ammo, up to a hotel suite and beating out a giant bulletproof window and shooting automatic weapons that recoil like that. People that haven't shot a big automatic weapon have no idea how much that kicks your ass, right? So basically, look, the guy had millions and millions of dollars. We know that. He didn't do that off gambling, okay? His girlfriend, we know, worked for the CIA out of the Philippines. The guy thought he was doing a weapons deal. They whacked him, and then they did the shooting. He was the scapegoat. So, prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, I support that.
So we just have fun with that stuff. And we love to have people on that'll argue with us and debate us, have a good time. Because that's really, real news is what the citizens are seeking, not what they're telling us. Right? So,
right on.
So I love it. I have
We
fun.
just got educated.
I've becoming a fighter kind of made me competitive, and I love debating because of it, right? I just love it.
Yeah,
So,
there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
have fun with it.
You know? And
So
it's-
anyway, let's talk about Mike's ring girls that are all his girlfriends.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, talk about
His girlfriends.
Which one sticks out more? No pun intended.
I don't date ring girls.
I don't know if he picks them out, but he I tell you what.
You did a good job.
Come on, Mike. Talk, Mike.
I don't date ring girls.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend? Okay.
Love her to death. Amanda, Easy, Vinny. Love you guys.
There you go.
Asshole.
Heard it here first.
Somebody's starting to swear over there.
Very uncomfortable.
It's
Very
95
uncomfortable.
degrees in here right now.
Very uncomfortable silence. I hope she isn't listening.
It's freezing.
That's what he's
in
thinking.
here. Plastic, man.
We might have an Elevate 51 preliminary about me and Pat Miletich. I mean, I don't care if he kicks my ass, but like,
You can't make
it's about to
170.
happen. We'll just call it a light heavyweight fight. It's called
okay.
light heavyweight fight.
Okay. All right.
Technically, it's okay.
So did I?
He's gonna throw chop me off there. Watch.
Hey.
He's gonna throw chop me so hard off there.
No, it's good.
I'm about to get popcorn right now.
That's what we need. Well,
So
that's basically going ahead and kind of just shut it down for the night. Appreciate Big Mike
Absolutely.
and the
no problem.
UFC Hall.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Thank you for
for-
taking the time, man.
thanks for having me.
Check him out tomorrow, Access TV. Him and his cohort, Ron Crunk, the old vet, man. And we're gonna shout out to the Full Circle Brewery for having us. And that's a wrap from Fresno, California. Here
Full
on
Circle Brewery, man. Holy smokes.
I wish I
That's
could.
it.
If you, that's a shame that you can't. This is some good beer. It's really good beer. I've had
So you're
3
getting ready
beers
for
now.
a fight? Oh yeah, good. Where at?
Well, hopefully
Appreciate
I'm injured right now, so if I get healed up in time, it's going to be down south. And then I have another one down south.
Okay, good.
But I appreciate you guys having us on here, and I look forward to seeing that Fresno crowd. I want to see everyone in there get loud
That's
tomorrow
hurt
night.
because of this
It's gonna be a good show. LFA 51.
elbow.
That's it. It's a wrap
All right.
from Fresno.
So I can't really do it, but
How'd you injure it?
I don't know. After
You have trouble squeezing and stuff?
I have
Hold on, brother. Appreciate
Sorry,
it,
can
man.
I grab it?
Me and Pat are
hurt?
gonna box and
See you tomorrow. There you go. There you go.
Where?
See you tomorrow.
Sides. Wow. Do you go to Kairos? No? I need to go to Kairos. Go to Cairo. They can do moving X-rays and see you've got 8 independent bones in there. And when you move your hand, all those will move independently. And if they don't, they're locked up. Then those are the ones that are going to pop because it could be affected, whatever. But carpal tunnel starts like that, so you got to be careful. Just don't get surgery if it's carpal tunnel. Go to a Cairo.